Hi, I'm Dr. Weiss. Well, this was supposed to be a Wind Down Wednesday, but we're turning it into a Thirsty Thursday. Sorry, I didn't get to making my video in time for Wednesday, but cheers. I am drinking Prosecco because that's what we had here at the office in the refrigerator, and I went digging to see what kind of beverage I could drink while doing my video tonight. So anyway, I am happy to have you here. And as always, I would hope that if you have any questions, you will put them in the comment section below and I'll be sure to answer them. But I am hoping you guys are all having a really great summer and maybe did some traveling, spent time with family. Can't believe July is almost done and it's going to be August here shortly. So anyway, cheers. Hope you grab your favorite beverage and enjoy with me. Don't know how long this Prosecco's been sitting in the fridge, but who am I to judge? Okay, so I thought an interesting topic for today would be new neuromodulators that are coming on the market. Both of them went through some FDA trials and tribulations. Both of them were they were sent letters that basically prevented them from coming to market. They needed to show the FDA some additional data before they would allow them to be released. So the first one will be distributed by the people who make Botox, and it is called BoNT/E, or botulinum toxin type E. So it's a different one than we currently use. All of the currently available neuromodulators are botulinum toxin type A. This one works a little bit differently. It cleaves the SNAP25 protein, which is what makes these neuromodulators work, because this protein is required for the exchange of electrical impulses between synapses in the skeletal muscles. So if you cleave that protein, the protein can't bind, the muscle can't contract. So this is cleaving that protein just at a different point. And the way that it does that creates sort of a different effect, and it's going to work faster in this case. So it's going to kick in within a day, 8 to 24 hours. But I mean, we all want something that works faster, right? But on the downside is it only lasts 2 weeks. So I am kind of curious to see where this particular neuromodulator is going to fit in our armamentarium of, tools that we have in our practice. I'd be curious to hear what your thoughts are, but my thoughts are that we could potentially use it for touch-ups, maybe when someone is sort of at the end of their 3 to 4 month period and they're starting to get a little bit of motion back, but maybe they've got an event coming up. And we can use this to bridge that time till they need their full treatment again. Or maybe we just use it for events for patients who don't normally get neuromodulators, or we use it for patients who are maybe neuromodulator naive. They've never had neuromodulator treatments before and are nervous about getting it, or are trying neuromodulator in a new area and they're not quite sure how they're going to like it. This would give them sort of a preview. I'm not sure where the cost is going to land. That will depend on what Allergan charges for this product. Some of what goes into why products are priced the way they are based on FDA approvals and whether or not these products are approved for medical use, like migraines or hyperhidrosis, excessive sweating, or other muscle contractions and things like that. When a company goes on to get medical indications, it does bring the cost of the products up. And this one, being short acting, I suspect is not going to have medical indications. So, and the fact that it only lasts a couple weeks, I'm hoping that it's going to be a less expensive way to try on neuromodulators. So I think I'm not concerned really about the safety of either of these two products that we're going to talk about. I do think that there was a reason the FDA was asking for additional information just related to the manufacturing process or whatever that is. So once they can prove that they've gone through all of those checks and balances, then hopefully this product is going to be released to market, and we'll kind of see where how it shakes out and how we end up using it in the practice. The other new product that's coming to market is called Refess. I can't even pronounce it, apparently. I'm sure there's going to be a nickname for it because people like me can't pronounce that. And that one is coming from the makers or the distributor of Dysport, which is Galderma. That too has had its hiccups, and they were sent a letter, and they're trying to prove themselves to the FDA. And that one comes as a ready-made toxin. So if you're not familiar with toxins typically come freeze-dried or as a powder that we have to reconstitute with saline, which gets to another point, which I'll get to in a minute about how we do that. But this one comes already pre-mixed, so it's already in solution. So that will make things a little more standardized between practices and providers and such. And it kicks in fast, so within a couple of days, and seems to last quite a while. So in some of their clinical studies, up to 6 months, people were responders for up to 6 months. So that would be amazing if we had a toxin like that. Daxxify had come out a few years ago and has a similar claim that it can last up to 6 months in certain patients, and it does. In my experience, if you are a patient where your tox doesn't last, it's wearing off by the end of the 3 months, you're probably not going to get to 6 months with Daxi. You'll probably get more to 4 to 5 months with Daxi. Yeah, RELDYFESS. If this Reldifess is going to last 6 months in the majority of patients and just a small portion of patients, we'll have to see where that shakes out. I do think that sounds really exciting, to have one that kicks in fast and lasts long. That's what we all want. Again, Daxi, I think that there's some great things about Daxi too. It's dosed differently, so you're using 2 times as many units to get that up to 6 months duration. I'm hoping with this new one from Galderma that it is more of a 1-to-1 with the other neuromodulators that we use, so we're not having to double dose. And again, how the uptake is in the market is somewhat dependent on how much they charge for the product. So stay tuned. I suspect both of those products will be available sometime in 2027, hopefully. I was talking about how we reconstitute and the fact that this new one is already coming in solution. I recently overheard, listening to a lecture by a well-respected nurse injector in the industry who does a lot of trainings. I heard from her that, we normally reconstitute with bacteriostatic saline. So we mix the powder that when it comes, we mix it with bacteriostatic saline because bacteriostatic saline hurts less than normal saline. You would think normal saline would be more pH balanced with us, but bacteriostatic saline, which also prevents bacterial overgrowth within the product, actually is more closer to our normal pH. But what she is saying is that normal saline is what the original clinical trials on all of these neuromodulators are, and that's why it's recommended to use normal saline. But we all off-label use bacteriostatic saline for patient comfort. I shouldn't say all. Not all of us are doing that. Clearly she isn't. She feels that the evidence has shown, so I shouldn't say she feels, she has stated that there is evidence, and I've tried looking this up myself and couldn't find it, that normal saline preserves the efficacy of the neuromodulator better than bacteriostatic saline, and that there are studies to show that bacteriostatic saline may reduce the efficacy or the active ingredient within the vial up to 20%. That's huge. So this was something that a lecture I was just listening to this morning, so I was like, what? 20%? So that could be a game changer if that's true. I think I'm going to have to play around with that in my office and do some split phase experiments on willing patients and staff where we use bacteriostatic tox reconstituted with bacteriostatic saline on one side and with normal saline on the other. And we'll add a little bicarb on the normal saline side to make the pH more less painful for patients. So anyway, if you are a willing participant, let me know. And we can schedule you to be part of our study. So anyway, those are the two new products. So it's this BoNT/E, which is again a different type of neuromodulator. It's not botulinum toxin type A, it's type E. That's the quick onset, quick offset 2-week tox. And then there is this ready-made tox from Galderma that is a botulinum toxin type A, just like all of our others, but it's made such that it has a faster onset and a longer duration, hopefully. What do you think? I'm curious what your favorite tox is right now. In our practice, we have Botox, though I've debated about not having Botox. Botox, I do think it works great. It's a great product. It's just, it is the most expensive product, but it is also the most studied and has the most FDA indications. And so there's definitely a place for Botox. And I have patients that love Botox and they feel that is superior product, gives them better results. So it's worth the cost to purchase that product for them. And then we also have Jeuveau in our practice, and Jeuveau, works very similarly to Botox in my experience, and it's just a less expensive version of Botox. It's your Costco, it's your Kirkland brand. But I love the company. I like the fact that they offer really great rebates to patients, so that patients can get their neuromodulator at a more affordable price. And the results are really great, and in most cases equivalent to what I can achieve with Botox, but not in every case. Dysport is a stronger tox. You get more toxin because of the conversion and dosing than you do with Botox and Xeomin and all the others. So that, I find that a lot of our patients are using Dysport. It has a nice diffusion, it has a nice spread, it looks really natural, and it lasts longer because there's more toxin in the vial. So I find patients can get 4 months with Dysport pretty regularly, pretty routinely. And then there's Xeomin that we have in the practice, though. I think we've gone back and forth between Xeomin and Daxxify. I think we're probably going back to Daxxify so that we have a longer lasting, that up to 6-month duration option for our patients, because we are seeing more patients that have just used neuromodulators for years and years and years, and they're coming back and their toxin isn't lasting as long. But maybe it's because I've been reconstituting it with bacteriostatic saline. I don't know, but I'm going to find out. Okay, so I hope you found that interesting and informative, and I would love to hear from you. So if you've got your favorite tox, I'd love to have you mention that in the section below and why you love that one so much. I love them all. So neuromodulators are one of my favorite things in the whole world. And it's obviously one of my favorite things to talk about. So I hope you all have a wonderful Thursday, and I hope to see you all in paradise soon. Cheers.